Welcome back to the road to the Final Four. This past January 1st, Cedric Dempsey assumed office as the Executive Director of the NCAA. We remember him from his years as Athletic Director at Pacific, San Diego State, Houston, and Arizona. He has served as the Chair of the Tournament Selection Committee, and real basketball fans know him as the former head coach at Albion College. We're pleased that he is joining us now live from Kansas City in one of his first interviews in his new capacity. And Cedric, welcome to the road to the Final Four. Nice to see you.
Well, thank you, Pat. And the other person was the Sultan of Schmooze.
Sultan of Schmooze.
I don't quite recognize that
late
title.
night coffee in a cheap diner. That's
everybody's talking about college basketball, and I know you're addressing the situation to do the same type of thing possibly in college football. When do you think we will get a college football championship game?
Well, as you are well aware, Pat, that is under review at the present time. There's a work group of which I'm a member that is developing information for a larger committee that will meet sometime in May to look at all the information that the work group has provided and determine at that time whether or not we should forward on any recommendation to a playoff to the membership for the January 1995 convention.
Right. Is it just me, or does it seem to be it seems to me to be a simple answer when you see all the hoopla and celebration over this championship to try to repeat it in college football? And when do you think this will happen?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a simple answer, because I think all of us are very concerned about the student athlete, and football is a different game than basketball is, and requires certainly more rehabilitation time after a game. And so I think there's a lot of concern related to the impact upon the student athlete and lengthening the season that presently exists with football. On the other hand, we're very anxious this coming week. We are going to sit down with a number of the athletes who've competed in January 1 bowl games last year, and also athletes who've competed in 1AA football championships to gain their insight and perspective into the possibilities of a Division 1A championship.
Said, I'm going to check your record, Albion. It probably rivals mine at St. Paul.
No, it doesn't.
Super conferences. I know it's easier for you, but why is it happening?
Well, I think for two reasons, Bill. I think one is that institutions are looking to associate themselves with other institutions that have similar missions and more commonality. I think that's one. And then obviously television is another issue of trying to generate more revenues out of it. But I think it's a dual reason that institutions are looking at reorganization at the present time.
As you're well aware of, the black coaches in America have been planning to possibly have a boycott between now and the tournament. Have you warned them not to do this? Has there been any conversation like that?
No, that's not been the intent of our discussions, and I'm very encouraged the fact that we have reopened dialogue with the Black Coaches Association, and we do plan to meet with them this coming week to discuss their issues, and importantly that they understand what the association is moving forward with after the convention mandate of the Resolution 174 this past January. We feel progress is being made concerning what their concerns are, and I'm looking forward to a good, open, frank discussion on Tuesday.
Said, as a former chair of the basketball committee, does this look like the toughest year ever?
Well, one thing I've noticed, Bill, is the chair is much more comfortable than it was a few years ago. And I said, they gave me a stool to sit on at that point in time. Here I'm sitting in a throne. But I think this had to be a very difficult year because of the number of upsets and the parity that we see in the field. And yesterday was certainly an example of why the basketball championship is certainly one of the most exciting events in the world.
Well, you got to be very happy because everybody's talking college basketball and college sports right now. We thank you, Cedric, for joining us.
Nice being with both of you.
And we wish you much success in your new post. While the men will soon embark upon their road to Charlotte, the women also have plenty of traveling on their own and the road to Richmond. James Brown will show us who's going where when the road to the Final Four continues from Kansas City right after this.